I don't get any spotlights? Okay, thanks. All right, good evening, everyone. My name is Andrew Crowder, and I'm a master's student working for Dr. Kulesza in the Civil Engineering Department. I'm not much of a public speaker, but when your advising professor and source of research funding asks you to speak on her behalf at a university event, you can't really say no. When I think of Dr. Kulesza and all the great professors that I've had throughout my time here at Kansas State, I started to notice several common trends in their teaching styles. I've narrowed this list down to the 4 things I believe you need to be an effective teacher. 1, be organized. Dr. Kulesza does a fantastic job delivering her lectures in a clear and concise way. Remember that we millennials think in terms of 140-character tweets. 2, be available. Dr. Kulesza always has an open-door policy and seems to always be available for students if they have questions regarding class, extracurriculars, and career advice. Plus, she comes equipped with hundreds of corny geotechnical engineering jokes to tell unsuspecting undergrads. 3, don't be afraid to be vulnerable and try new things in class. In the classes I've had with Dr. Kulesza, we're continuously doing demonstrations, watching videos, and solving problems. I think she also knew that playing loud videos of pile driving and construction blasting made it very difficult for students trying to sleep in the back of class. I may have been one of those students. 4, and this may be the most important, when you look out into your audience or classroom and you notice everyone's eyes have sufficiently glazed over, it is time to stop lecturing. So without further ado, I'd like to welcome my advisor and friend, Dr. Stacey Kulesza.
Thank you, Andy. Your funding may stay. So I'm here tonight to talk to y'all a little bit of what Andy's already alluded to. In the Civil Engineering Department, I teach geotechnical engineering. So this means we talk about dams, we talk about levees, foundations, earth-retaining structures. But before we can really get to that exciting stuff, we have to start at soil mechanics, which is the class I teach to the undergrad students. I teach every fall. We have 2 hours of lecture each week, and we also have a complimentary 4-hour lab. So I came to K-State, and I was super excited when I first started teaching, and we were going to talk about soils and theories and all these great things, and I was going to give them examples, and I was going to show them applications of the theory, and as I looked around, as Andy said, the first thing I noticed was I had a lot of boredom. And honestly, sometimes I myself really felt bored, and that's a bit of a problem, right? As a new professor, how can this be sustainable if I'm boring myself? So I decided I needed to quickly make a change, and I started by first thinking it's probably not my problem, perhaps it's actually the material, right? So I thought to my soils class, what happened when I took soil mechanics? I had this fabulous professor. He actually was on my advisory committee for my PhD. I took 4 more classes with him, but soils was pretty boring. And when I think about it, I mean, when I remember going to class, I went every day, and this was before we could play on our cell phones. I used to play hangman with my friends in the back of class every single lecture. We would make up our own puzzles. It was that much fun. And so I thought, well, okay, maybe this material actually is kind of boring, right? Think about it. I teach dirt, right? I teach juniors and seniors about dirt. But as I've already told you, actually I don't teach dirt. I teach soil. And soil is exciting because until we become these people, you need someone like me, right? What's more exciting than that? So maybe it's not the material. Maybe perhaps it's me. I considered then, well, who were my favorite teachers growing up? And I had fabulous teachers, all in college, all through elementary school. But really, my favorite were these 2. Who recognizes these 2 people? This is Saturday morning PBS at its finest, y'all. So here on the right, I guess your left, we've got Miss Frizzle. She had a magic school bus. And on the right, probably more recognizable, is Bill Nye the Science Guy. And they did some common trends that I've actually learned about in a lot of these great teaching workshops I've gone to. They had a lot of enthusiasm. They were very positive. They were very passionate. And their whole classes were built on these demonstrations, right? And I also noticed something else. We were engaging 8-year-olds here, so there were always these little side stories, right? These little digressions to keep kids really, really involved as they went through. So keep in mind, in my class, we do still have to talk about theory and lecture and stuff, so I thought, okay, I'm going to liven it up a little bit. We're going to solve some problems. And instead of me solving problems on the board for you, you're going to do it yourself. So you can see my class here on the left. Next to that is what I've put up on the board, and I have them start the problems themselves, and then they can ask a friend. We can phone a friend, talk to our neighbors, and get to the solution together. And this is such a valuable tool because you never know what you really know until you wing it, right? So the problem that I have with this, though, we have a simple one-line solution, and this easily takes 5 to 10 minutes out of class. It's not that that's not valuable. It's not that that's not useful, but I don't always have time for that. I still do really need to go into the theory of the class. There are important things we have to cover, and that doesn't always lend itself to problem solving. So then I thought, well, maybe occasionally we should just take a timeout, right? And I thought I'll start with what I learned from my favorite teachers, and we'll do some in-class demonstrations. Sometimes I set up demonstrations that I can do myself. I can make sure that the demonstration mirrors the theory I'm talking about. Sometimes I can bring students up to the front of the class and they can do it for me, and we can have so much fun with it. We can play music, we can wear hard hats, safety first. And then also sometimes I can kind of incorporate both of them together. So one day something really cool happened. I was talking about my good friend Bernoulli. And you can see the student here, he's measuring the head of water in the tank, and he's about to go to the side, and he's going to measure the height of the water in the manometer. And ever since I was an undergrad, when I hear the word manometer, I think one thing.
Manometer.
Right? It's a manometer.
Manometer.
So I came to class, and I played this. The students walked in, we're playing the manometer video. They're all giggling, I'm giggling, we're measuring it. And I think they really liked the demo. They learned a lot from the demo, but honestly, I think the Muppets were really what they were into. It wasn't my demo. So I thought about that some more, and I thought, well, okay, I do still need to talk about theory. I don't always have time to solve a problem. It's not always appropriate to solve a problem. But I've also got these other videos that I can show that are 100% related to my lecture. Because we do talk about making my soils more dense, and a way to make soils more dense is by using dynamic compaction. Please don't try that. Your contractor will be very angry with you. And I also have some videos that I would say are, like, let's call these videos semi-related. Because if you've ever seen the movie Tremors, it does take place in sand. And we do learn from the video that what's happening above ground affects the aliens beneath us, right? So we can learn how stress is distributed down in the soil. And then I have other videos, I'm not going to lie to y'all, they have nothing to do with class. Here is a video of a baby monkey riding backwards on a pig. This is by far my favorite video. Anyone that's ever taken my class, I guarantee, has seen this video, and there's a corresponding song. There is also a video of a chimpanzee riding on a Segway. And there are several other Muppet videos where Muppets just sing popular songs. If you have not watched the Muppets sing Bohemian Rhapsody, you have not lived. So what do the students think about this? Each semester, as suggested to me by Dr. Schultz, I ask them halfway through to tell me what I should stop doing, what I should start doing, and what I should continue doing. And this is a takeaway from their continue. So they say, please continue to do the demonstrations. They find them valuable. Please continue to work examples. All engineering students will tell you they love examples. And if I could piece this together, a big thing is always, please continue to show Muppet videos. They love the Muppet videos. And one student actually said, continue to show videos and demonstrations because it's easy to lose focus just taking notes all the time. This student gets me. So with that, I would just say, whoops, lost the button. Every once in a while, if you find yourself kind of in a little bit of a lull, just consider taking a timeout because it really only takes 2 minutes. Thank you.